Hey guys, today we're going to be learning how to fan a deck of cards. So in the past I've done a tutorial on how to do a one-handed fan, which looks something like this. If you don't know how to do that, I'll leave a link to my tutorial on the one-handed fan up in this top right hand corner of the screen. Go and check it out. But today we're going to be learning a different type of fan. I think it's a little easier. It uses both hands. So one hand holds the cards like this, and then the other hand actually just spreads them out into that fan shape. So that's what the fan we're going to be learning today looks like. We're also going to learn how to close it up with one hand as well. So just like that. So that's what we're going to be learning today. Let's get into it. Okay, so before we get into the actual tutorial, just one bit of advice is that you should probably use a newer deck of cards, just because there's going to be a lot less friction between the cards, and they're going to fan a lot more smoothly than if you have an old deck of cards. So if you've got a new deck lying around, go and grab it, and your fanning will work a lot better with a newer deck than an old deck. Okay, so let's get into the actual tutorial. So we're going to start off by looking at the grip you want to get into when you start fanning the cards. So that's going to look something like this. Okay, and I'll just break that down for you. So you're going to be using your left hand and mainly your index and middle fingers, but your ring and pinky also come into it slightly. So you start off with a biddle grip on the deck with your right hand. That's going to allow you to place the cards in the position they need to be in. So I'm going to place the cards down, and you see this pip here of the cards. That's about where my fingers are going to be contacting. So I'll place them down like this, and you can see the bottom left corner of the entire deck is resting on my index and middle fingers. And I'm going to curl my fingers slightly to get a good grip on that bottom left corner. Now at the same time, my left thumb is going to contact also on the top left corner, and it's going to push downwards like that. And if you're using a bicycle deck, a good point to notice is that my thumb's contacting about where this bottom left angel is. Okay, so I place the cards down and press down on my thumb, and that is about that's the grip really. So you can see the cards are at an angle. They're pointing off towards my left. You don't want them in like a 90-degree angle to your fingers, because then the fan you get won't be as big as if you have them at an angle like this. So that's basically the angle you want. I'll just bring them closer to the camera. You can see the bottom here. All my fingers are involved, but it's mainly my index and middle fingers, and they're sort of curled together holding the deck from the bottom, and then my thumb pushes down on top, pinching the deck between my fingers and thumb. So that's the starting grip for the fan. Okay, so once you've got that grip down, let's get into how to actually fan the cards out. So I'm going to be using all my fingers of my right hand here to fan the cards. So I'm going to extend my right hand and my fingers all the way out like this, and I'm going to get into that position that I need to be in to fan the cards. So when you're ready to fan the cards, you want to contact this top left long edge of the cards right here. So just here where I'm rubbing the cards. And that's where you're going to be contacting the cards to push them to the right and just guide them into that fan shape. Okay, so in full speed, it looks something like this. So I come across with my right hand, contact there, and fan. So let me just try and break that down for you. But do bear in mind that if you do a fan slowly, you're not going to end up with a good fan. So when you're learning how to do this, it's probably wise to do it quicker. If you try and do it slowly, you are not going to get a very good fan, as I'll show you just now. So you're in that position, you bring your right hand across, extend all the fingers, and you're going to touch right there, just where I showed you, this sort of top left long edge of the cards. So now my hand's like this, and then all you're doing is you're just pulling the deck right and trying to guide it round in that fan shape. And you can see if you do it slowly, you don't end up with a good fan. To end up with that good evenly spread fan, you really need to do it quite quickly, like that. But going a bit more in depth into how to do it, you contact here and then you sort of slowly release the pressure that you fan at, okay? And that'll give you this even fan. So you start off like this, and then just slowly release the pressure, and then that'll give you an evenly spaced fan. Fanning is one of these things that's really hard to teach in slow motion because, as I said, you just don't get a good fan if you do it slowly. So when you learn it, do try and do it quite fast. It's just quite a trial and error process. If you do it over and over again, you'll sort of get the technique and understand how it works. But that's about as good as I can teach it, really. You're just holding it like this, and then you take your fingers and just guide it around in that fan shape. Okay, so let's get into how to close up the fan using one hand. So you saw this in the beginning. I'll just do it again now. So you've done your fan, and then you close it up with one hand, just like that. Now, this isn't necessary. It's not something you have to do, because you can easily close up the fan. Just take your right hand again, just as you fanned it in the first place. You take it, and then you just mirror the movement you made earlier. So just as you spread the cards out in that movement, you just contact the bottom of the fan, do the movement again, and it'll close up. But that doesn't look as impressive as being able to close it up with one hand. Okay, so if you just do a fan, and then spectators see the fan just seemingly closing itself, because when you close it up with one hand, what's actually going to close the fan is these fingers, your left fingers underneath the fan, sort of moving like this. Okay, and as the spectators don't see those fingers moving, it sort of creates this effect where the fan almost looks like it's closing itself. So it just adds something to the whole flourish, to the fan, and it just looks really impressive. So if you can learn how to do this as well as the fan, definitely close up the fans like this, because it just makes the fan look a lot better, really. Okay, so to execute this move, obviously you're going to need a card fan. So we'll just fan the cards out, and then to close them up, this is what's happening. So your left fingers are just going to be pulling the cards to your left. So your left fingers, so it's mainly going to be your index, ring and middle fingers. Your pinky doesn't really do anything, it's not really involved in this. But what's going to happen is all those three fingers are just going to pull to your left, okay? So what's happening is these three fingers are just doing this, okay? And what that does is that brings the deck, that closes the deck up, okay? Okay, so I'll try and show it from this angle. You can do a card fan, and then those fingers are just pulling the cards to the left, okay? So you can see they're just really trying to bring those cards in, and then it'll close up. So they're just doing this sort of motion here, pulling cards to the left, and that's just going to bring the fan. It's sort of the whole fan will move, okay? And you can see the fan comes downwards and it collects together, okay? Okay, so once again, fan the cards out, and then it's those three fingers just pulling the cards in, and all the time your left thumb is going to be pushing downwards, constantly applying downwards pressure, okay, while the other three fingers, your other three fingers don't need to apply that much pressure. They're going to be a lot looser, and you should find the fan will just all move together and close up. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you how to close up the fan from this angle to give you a perspective looking up at the bottom of the deck. So obviously you start with a fan, and then it's these 3 fingers here just pulling to the left and closing up that fan, okay? And then it'll close up. So they're just pulling it to the left. So once again, your index finger particularly is pushing those cards round, and then all those fingers just pull those cards in. It's a bit like a conveyor belt, okay? So just pulling the cards in towards your hand, and then you can collect all the cards and just use this sort of motion here to square the cards up. Okay guys, that's going to be it for this tutorial. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like, favourite, comment and subscribe. And if you want to keep up to date with what's going on my channel, make sure to check out my Instagram and my Twitter. The links will be down in the description below. If you have any requests or anything like that for tutorials you want me to do in the future, leave them in the comments section or tweet me or something, and I'll see what I can do. But as always guys, this has been Complete Deception, and I'll see you later.